We're now going to begin another lesson in Likutey, the Kitzer Likutey Moharan, Rebbe Nachman's main work. And there's beautiful teachings that every person can take something out of these lessons. That's what's so beautiful about them. So we begin with lesson 9. Tehomos ikas yumu. The deeps covered them. It says in Exodus, Shemos. Iker hachiyus mikablin me'atfila v'al kein tzarich li'spalel b'chol chocho kedei lahachnis koicho b'oisius atfila v'az nis chadesh kocho sham v'alidei zeh zochin ha'amunah. The person receives vitality through prayer. Therefore, one must pray with all his energy, so that his energy enters the letters of the words of the prayers and is rejuvenated there. In this way, he attains faith. So you have to go, first you put all your vitality in prayer, and it's going to help you to attain faith. And you're going to feel rejuvenated from this. Lefi malas tfiloso ken zoicha lezivugo v'chein noisnim lo parnasaso al ken aydei tfila b'koach zoicha lezivugo lo parnasa. A man's relationship with his wife. Let's see if this is working. A man's relationship with his wife, as well as his livelihood, are both determined by the quality of his prayer. Therefore, by praying with energy, a person merits to have a good marriage and livelihood. So through praying with energy, you have parnasa, you have sustenance from God, and you're not going to have to worry about food. You're not going to have to worry about your rent and everything through your prayer. Prayer with energy. And it's going to give you shalom with your spouse. It's going to give you zivug. It's going to bring you to finding your spouse. All through prayer with energy. Because this energy comes from the words and the letters of the prayers themselves. Well, Shem Tov has a book, Tzfat which speaks about how when a person goes and concentrates on their prayer, and on the fact that the letters themselves of the words, the Hebrew words are saying, if you can't speak in Hebrew and English, these letters are going up to the heavens, and you should hold on to them. You shouldn't want to let them go. It says when you pray, you should say, for instance, you don't want to get rid of that resh. You want to keep that resh as long as possible. You want to hold on to it. Lamalois. You know, hold on to those letters of the words, because that's the vitality of the prayer. And by holding on to it, by using energy in your prayer, it's gonna fix things. Vayde tefila b'shleimus nashpia chiyus l'chol shloisha chalki oilam shehem Olam hashafu va'olam hachochavim va'olam hamalachim. When a person's prayer reaches perfection, it supplies vitality to all three parts of the universe: the lower, the physical world, the world of the stars, and the world of the angels. Your prayer is not just for you, you're bringing vitality to the entire world, and the worlds above. It's not a small matter when you pray. You're doing great things. When a person is about to pray, extraneous thoughts and impure forces, they come and they surround him, so that he remains in darkness and is unable to pray. you think prayer is so special. Whenever you have something special, it's supposed to be difficult. So that's why when a person comes to pray, they're thinking about this, what they're going to do after they pray. They're thinking about this to happen, that to happen. So these are the extraneous thoughts that are coming to go and make it more difficult to pray. But when you go and you fight them, and you push them aside, and you pray with more kavanah, you elevate all these thoughts, and you make a great elevation. So don't fear these things. Expect these extraneous thoughts, and use them, work through them. You know, when the prophets would go and they would prophesy and they would try to come close to God, they would always see this confusion, this clouds of darkness that they'd have to get through. But once they persevered through that, through joy, through the clinging and the longing to God, through music, through saying the words with simple kavanah at first, simple understanding at first, and then using them, like I said, like the Baal Shem Tov said, to drag them out, to try to connect to the letters themselves. By going in through this darkness, you're going to get to the light of prayer. You're going to get to that place where your prayer is going to be you flow with beauty, with grace, and you're going to know your prayer is not, you're going to feel your prayer being heard. It's not going to just feel wasted, or you're going to be inside it. Now the best measure against this is to make certain, against these extraneous thoughts, to make certain that to say the words of prayers honestly, with simple honesty, you should pray. Then those words that leave your mouth in sincerity will cleave an opening for you in the darkness where you are trapped, and you will merit to pray well. Understand this point very well, because it is a fundamental rule and a foundation in all the facets of the service of God. And everything depends on this. Praying with absolute simplicity and truth. That's the main thing. You know, I have here, I pray many times from Kavanos HaRashas, high Kavanos. Sometimes I'm doing this, but because of Rebbe Nachman's teachings, I understand that the main thing is not this. The main thing is to attach oneself to the simple meaning of the words. And through this you're going to get Kavanah. This is the main thing of prayer, is to understand what you're saying. Not just to read the prayer book, but to understand these in the most simplest way. To pray in absolute simplicity. Now, even if a person is sunken, God forbid, in the deepest darkness and spiritual impurity, and he's imprisoned and enclosed within layer upon layer of them, surrounding him on every side, and they do not allow him to draw close to holiness, his primary means of rectification is simply to orient himself towards the truth. He must fix his eyes on the absolute truth, seeking nothing but the truth. Similarly, in his prayers, even though he cannot pray at all because of the deep darkness that surrounds him, he should nonetheless be certain just to speak his words honestly, however low a level this may be. For example, he might say truthfully, Hashem, God, save me. And even though he cannot even say that with appropriate enthusiasm and arousal, he should nevertheless force himself to at least say these words with sincerity and simplicity, according to who he is. And then he will merit to see the opening in the darkness. For if a person sincerely desires the truth, there is no darkness in the world that can obscure it from him, because truth is the light of Hashem himself. If you desire truth, you can find it, but you have to desire it. If you desire it, nothing can stand in your way of finding emes, the truth. While falsehood drives away God's light, so to speak, since one who speaks falsehood will not stand in God's sight, says in Tehillim, Psalms 101. With truth, the Holy One, blessed be He, abides with a person. Hashem's the greatest desire is solely for truth, and according to the level of truth that a person has, so does the Holy One, blessed be He, abide with him, and illuminate for him a way out of the darkness and the impure forces that are preventing him from his prayers and devotions. Through this method, The truth will shine its light for a person that he will be able to pray with Hashem's great kindness. And in turn, he will rectify and sustain all the worlds. So we see that through being truthful in your prayer, you're going to break all obstacles and you're going to get to the light of Hashem. By being truthful in your life and everything you do, be truthful in how you serve God throughout the day. And this truthfulness is going to bring you to the light of Hashem. It's going to get rid of all the darkness. Because in emes, in truth, is light. Back for some Hebrew. יש בני אדם שצריכים לדבר דיבורי תפילה באמש כזה עד שהדיבורים מאירים כאבן טוב שהוא מאיר בעצמו ויש בני אדם שדיבורם הוא רק כמו חלון שאין לו אור בעצמו רק שדרך שב נכנס האור ויכול אחר להאיר בו ודע שהכל לפי גודל האמת. There are people who merit to say the words of their prayers with such honesty that their words give off light like a gemstone, which radiates its own light. There are others, however, whose speech is only like a window, which has no light of its own, but merely allows light to pass through it. This type of person can be illuminated only by someone else. Know that it is all in accordance with the level of truth. You know, over the years, praying in different synagogues, I've come upon people that pray. And you know what, when this person prays, they pray with absolute truth in their hearts. And I get a desire to pray with them because of that. Because I know that God is listening to their prayer, and I want to be in the same room with them. I experienced this once in Tush, deep north into Canada, by the Tzfat Rebbe. There was a man who was praying. He was pacing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You see that he understood absolute truthfulness, that Hashem is one, that God is hearing my prayers, and it was amazing. So, a person like this, who prays with all truthfulness in their heart, he's going to arouse the person next to him, and that person's going to pray. And eventually, when you pray with one person praying and the next person praying with truthfulness, and then it's contagious. The whole synagogue, next thing you know, everyone is praying with all their heart, and it's very beautiful when you can pray with absolute truthfulness to God. גם על ידי שאדם ניסוי באמס השם יתברך על ידי זה יזכה לבקוע המוסקים והמחיצויס המבדילים למצוי הפסוחים לסייז מהאפלה לא יראה על ידי זה זוכה לא יראה גם אחר ממו לא יראה לשובה אנושים אחרים להוציאם מהחושך ולהחזירם בשובה. When a person truly awakens himself to God, he thereby merits to break open the screens and obstacles that separate him from holiness, and to find the openings to go out from darkness to light. By this, he also merits to awaken other people with him, to stir other people to repent, taking them out of darkness and bringing them back to Hashem. I just said I didn't prepare this lesson. I find that the Rebbe's Torahs are inside me so deeply over the years that I already say what he's going to say next. So you're going to affect other people around you through that truthfulness that you pray with. And you're going to stir other people, and you're going to bring them close to God as well. And you're going to bring them light. And that's what's so great. I find myself as a person who does Jewish outreach. It's hard for me sometimes to sit here and learn all by myself. So that's why I put the live streaming on, and I try to help people to just enjoy a little bit, because a person who wants to come close to God, a person who understands truthfulness, he has to share that light with other people. Otherwise, it's not a light for him. So he wants to share. So a person praying with truthfulness, he's sharing this light. He's bringing his brethren, and he's elevating the whole. I'll tell you, if you have one person in the synagogue, and everyone doesn't know how to pray, they're all praying about things that are probably unimportant, and you have one person there crying out his heart, he's taking all the prayers, even though the chazan, he's the one who's elevating the prayers. No, it's also that person. That one person there that's praying with all his heart, he's sustaining the entire minyan. I've seen it, I've felt it. How wonderful it is that you should be worthy to pray with people that are sincere, who are not talking in the synagogue. It's not why we come to the synagogue. Sorry, kodem lahalo isafilos der sha'ar hashayach l'shiv v'tov. Sorry, l'schus gadol v'yiskel zeh king. Sorry, l'koecho l'kashret tfiloso. L'tzay ador ki l'tzadi yodea k'mekavin hashavim lahalo yiskol tfilos tfilo l'sha'ar hashayach lo. Each person needs to send up his prayers through the gate of his own tribe. Hence, there are 12 tribes of Israel, as we know. However, it requires a great merit to be able to do this. Therefore, every person must connect his prayers to the tzaddik, the sage of the generation, because the tzaddik knows how to match the gates to the prayers, and to send up each and every prayer to the appropriate gate. These 12 gates are signified by the 12 windows that are customarily built in the synagogue, which allude to the 12 tribes. We have a synagogue here in Jerusalem, Shar Shemaim, I think it's called, and you see they have 12 windows on the top to signify the 12 gates that prayer enters. So as the Rebbe is saying here, that every person has a different tribe and connection and gate they're supposed to go through. And the person doesn't know necessarily which gate they're going through, and they have trouble ascending their prayers. And the tzaddik of the generation, he knows how to go and elevate these prayers and put them through. It's like a person is sorting mail, working for the post office. He gets all these mails, and each one, first, I think when he sorts it, he sorts by state. Okay, this one goes to the state of Washington. This one goes to Maryland. This one goes to New York. So he's sorting the things, and then the next guy is going to go and bring it up. So the prayers of our generation, they go through the tzaddik. Now, not being a tzaddik of a door, or a tzaddik at all, I don't understand this 100%, this Torah. But it goes through the tzaddik in some way. In some way he feels the tsar, he feels the prayers of Israel, and whatever he does, he is helping to elevate that through the right gates. They said of the Breslov Rebbe in Tzfat that he was this person before passed away a few years ago, but he was that person who elevated all the prayers for Israel. That's what many, many sages said. And this is done also through humility, absolute humility and complete connection to Hashem. And you yourself can also elevate your prayers from previous times that you prayed. If you prayed I prayed in this room sometimes, and sometimes the prayers don't ascend, they're not done lishma, they're not done with all my heart. So next time I pray in this spot, I'm able to elevate the previous prayers that were not done with kavanah, and send them up to heaven. You should pray in the synagogue where the chazan, that you trust him, that you trust in this person with your life. You know, when you're going to pray, that chazan, he has everyone in that synagogue's life in his hands. He can break all the klipa, all the din, all the judgment. He has such a responsibility, and then yet people send people up there, kids sometimes, that don't know what left from the right, or people, I don't know, it's such an important responsibility. Why would anyone stand up there unless they really feel good that day, that they're close to God, that they either went to the mikveh, or they learned, or they repented. It's a huge responsibility. I used to daven at the Amud all the time when I was a bacher, and I enjoyed it. I prayed. It was enjoyable. I would do some chazanas, some singing, but then eventually I realized the responsibility of that, and I shy from it. I'll tell you, I shy from it because it's huge, that responsibility. Tzarech liros l'hagia Madrega, V'spalo, V'choch, V'kavona, Ad sheyish poich libo, Kamayim l'fnei Hashem, V'ayidei zeh, Yavo Mashiach, V'mehir v'yameinu. Amen. A person must see to it that he reaches such a level that he pours out his heart like water before Hashem. And through this, the Mashiach, the Messiah, will come. May it be speedily in our days. Amen. Before continuing, I want to say, when a person prays with all their heart, Mamish, when you need something, when you're so alone, when you're so broken, when someone is hurting in your family, they're on their deathbed, which I have experienced, and you're praying with all your heart. To feel true prayer, you have to reach a level where you literally feel like you're dying. Like you've given everything, you have absolutely nothing left. You don't even know how you're going to breathe your next breath because you gave it all to Hashem in prayer. That is prayer with absolute truth. My father was on his deathbed. When I prayed, I ended up, those weeks, I ended up on the floor. I was nothing left. When I prayed, I was finished. I gave everything from my heart to Hashem. That is the way a person should pray all the time. This is the way they prayed in what Chassidim, I think Karliner. The Karliner Chassidim, you go and hear them pray, they would be screaming and screaming with all their energy, every energy. When they finish praying, they are finished. Okay, but there's different ways to pray. We learn from the Baal Shem Tov and from Chassidus that absolute connection to God is not just something. First, you're screaming, you're shuckling, and you're putting all the kavanah in. You need to involve the goof. You're very worldly. You don't even involve all your limbs. But then you get to a point when you don't need this anymore. Your soul is already ascending to the next levels. And at that point, you don't need to move anymore. Your soul is speaking to God. It's in the heavens. It's standing before Hashem in absolute simplicity. I picture myself sometimes. I'm standing in the middle of a desert, and just me, and there's no one around, and standing before Hashem. Elu b'nei Adam hamachishim kol hanisim v'oimrim shekol derech hateva v'im royim eize nes hem chasim hanes im derech hateva she'oimrim shederech hatavoim poigmin b'atfila ki atfila hi b'chinas nisim she'anes as hateva. Those people who deny all miracles and who say that everything is merely a coincidence of natural forces, who when they witness a miracle, cover it up by explaining it in terms of natural laws, reject and undermine the whole concept of prayer. For prayer is closely related to nisim, to miracles, in that prayer changes what nature dictates, which is what we call a miracle. Minim v'hashgochas v'yizborach u'foigmim be'eretz Yisrael shehi makom hanisim v'ayidei zeh tzrichin lipo v'galus Mitzrayim she'arei galuhis v'hem ma'arichim es hagalus rachamon litzlan. Now such people also greatly blemish faith in Hashem, because they do not believe that the Creator oversees the world. Furthermore, they blemish the land of Israel, the place of miracles, causing them to fall into the exile of Egypt as well as other exiles. And they prolong the present exile. God save us. So, obviously the opposite, a person who's recognizing the miracles of God, recognizing the blessings that they have, they're bringing the good, they're increasing faith into the world. A person who appreciates that they can see in the morning, that they can have arms and fingers to grasp things, nails to protect the fingers. They're increasing faith in the world. So we ended this lesson. To summarize, we spoke how prayer gives a person vitality. It gives them energy. And it rejuvenates a person. It gives a person shalom with their wife. It brings them closer to the zivug, finding their besheret. It gives them livelihood. We spoke about extraneous thoughts, how when we're praying, thoughts come to us extraneously, and we should not fear them, but we should rather go through them. The prophets, everyone who prayed the deepest prayers in the world, they all had to go through these extraneous thoughts. And you can, and if you persevere and you go through these extraneous thoughts, you're going to get to a light, a great light. And we talked about praying with truthfulness, absolute truthfulness. It's not a matter of the kavanos, even though the kavanos could be also be very important, but it's not a matter of the kavanos and the deep mystical things in prayer. The absolute simplicity that you pray with is what breaks all barriers, and that truthfulness is what God wants. He wants that truthful heart that's completely one with Him, and it comes to absolute faith. And we spoke about that. If you want to feel light in your life, you want light, then, and maybe you're not feeling that, it means you're not praying with truthfulness. Try to pray with more truthfulness, and it's going to give you a great light and opening to come close to God. And we spoke about that also to bring other people close to God through your prayer, through that truthfulness that you're praying with. You're going to bring other people closer to God. We spoke about prayer is the idea of miracles, and Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, is the idea of miracles. They're happening here. Prayer breaks the natural forces of events. We learn in the Talmud that all nations are under the mazolos, under the astrological signs, but Israel is above astrological signs. Yes, there is, the astrological signs is the way of it is a like an architect. He has, architect. He builds certain pathways, certain. My English sometimes really fades. After so many years not being in America, so an architect, everything has order. Okay, everything in life, God, when He created the world, He made order. Okay. So the astrological signs, this is order, okay? And everything is in order. Everything flows through the same pattern of things that has to happen. But when it comes to a Jew is above normal things. He's above Heva. He's above Mazolot, and he can raise above these things through prayer. People always saying things that hurts me so much. They say, that person's sick. They're born with that sickness, they're going to have it the rest of their life. And I say, don't say something like that. Like, yeah, okay, during normal teva, we have to assume this person has an illness, and in a normal way, it'll be very hard for them to get rid of. But to say never, it'll never go away. To say that you could never be rich, you could never be wealthy because you haven't had that opportunity, because, you're working, at the pizza store every day. To say that there is that everything is that things can't change for you, it's not true. Even the mazolot, it's like a Ferris wheel. It goes like this. Okay, the mazolot are like Ferris wheel, and all the money in the world is like a Ferris wheel. Okay, and as it comes back around, it changes hands. The money, one time a person's rich, 1 year, next year he's poor. This person's working on Wall Street. Next thing you know, he's working a part-time job. He can't find any work. Everything is changing all the time. Okay, and wealth and poverty are changing hands back and forth. And that's in general. Now, if you add a Jew's prayer to that, then the Ferris wheel it's a whole different ballgame. The Ferris wheel is flipping, changing. Seats are changing in the middle. It's beyond what's normal. And in the Jewish people, our prayer is all about miracles. And you have to have complete faith. You have to have complete truthfulness, knowing that Hashem is in charge of the world, and appreciating what you have, And then you're going to break through and you're going to see miracles. You're going to see that light. You have to break through those extraneous thoughts telling you, I can't pray for this. I can't pray for a miracle. I can't pray that things work out. My life sucks and that's just the way it is. But no, don't give up on life. Don't give up on prayer, because prayer is miracles. And God wants, why did Hashem give us that ability to change mazel unless He was going to do it for us? He wanted us to pray. He wanted us to realize that we can change all events and that we can change ourselves. And we don't have to be on the bottom of the carousel anymore. Thank you for joining me in the lesson. Please share the lesson so more people can benefit from it, and please subscribe to the live stream. Thank you so much.